We just closed the year on 2021, and now we look forward to 2022. Let's do a quick review of what happened last year on this week's Video Market Update. At the beginning of the year of 2021, we had unemployment just over 6.5%. We end the year with unemployment under about 4.7%. While that's good, there are still more than 10.5 million open jobs, and we saw a surge of people quitting their jobs. About 3 million people quit their jobs in November. So although unemployment has come down, there's still a lot of opportunity and a lot of job openings depending on your level of qualification and where you're willing to work. The market saw a huge rally. All three major indexes were up. The S&P 500 was up 27%, the Dow Jones was up 19%, and the NASDAQ, which is pretty tech heavy, finished up 22%. Now this is the first time since 2016 that the S&P 500, which is a broader market index, had better returns than the tech heavy NASDAQ. We also saw in 2021 the rise of these alternative assets. Something called a NFT, or a non-fungible token, which is something that very few people knew about probably in 2021, became a $22 billion market. It's one that may not be here 5 years from now, and for most people doesn't make a ton of sense, but we saw an explosion in those numbers. And then we saw Bitcoin. Bitcoin went crazy and cryptocurrency went crazy. At one point, Bitcoin was up 116%. Only to give all of those gains back by the summer, but yet ending the year up about 60%. At the beginning of 2021, we saw inflation below the mark that the Federal Reserve was looking for, and inflation was running at about 1.4%. We end the year without a clear picture of inflation, but we know the last update we received, inflation was running at 6.8%. So what does that tell us? That tells us that the stock market was up. Now the bond market was essentially flat, but stocks are up. Alternative assets are up. Inflation is up. So a lot of things going up at the same time. The question that we're going to look for next year is what comes down and what also continues to rise. And that'll be on the next video market update. But just to kind of close on 2021, another thing we saw go up, federal spending. The federal government spent $6.81 trillion, which was 2.77 trillion in deficit spending. Now, as high as that number is, it's still lower than what the federal government spent in 2020, but $6.8 trillion is a lot. Another number that we saw go up and go up exponentially, the number of COVID cases. We're essentially this end of 2021 to beginning of 2021, we almost saw a tripling of the cases, but we saw a very large reduction in the number of deaths at the same time at the end of 2021 as the end of 2020. So again, some numbers in that case are going up, some numbers are going down. So overall, there's still a lot of jitters in 2021. There was a lot of uncertainty with COVID, a lot of uncertainty with the job market, a lot of uncertainty with inflation. We were told all year it was transitory, meaning it'll be here for a little while and gone. Well, they've retired that phrase and have now told us inflation is here for a while. So there were some jitters, but there was also some highlights. Having unemployment come down is wonderful. But at the same time, gas prices shot through the roof. It's great that the stock market was going up, but wages were not rising commensurate with inflation. So it may not have been as good a year economically as maybe 2000 or 2019. It certainly wasn't the worst year, because when the market's up 20+%, you're doing well because half of Americans have some money in the stock market, whether in their individual retirement accounts, brokerage accounts, 401ks. But what we know is the stock market does not make the economy. So there were some really good numbers, some really good highlights from 2021, but definitely some things to be concerned with as we move into 2022. Look for that video in about 2 weeks. We're going to do an outlook on what we think 2022 is going to look like. So stay tuned for that. If you have any questions on this video and where we sit as we start to go into 2021, let me know. If not, I hope you make it a great week.